This is the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us. Hey, Natalie. Oh my God. I'm so excited to talk about this topic with you today.
There's nothing quite like a bucket list, you know?
I'm all for bucket lists. Everything I want to do is like a dream, and the reality is what scares me. So I like having a bucket list.
It's like my list of jobs that I wanted to have. Like I've done almost everything on my list of jobs, and most of them have made me cry or, have otherwise ended badly. But I really have no regrets. And, I guess it's going to be the same with horses. Most of the things I've wanted to do with horses, when I finally got to do them, they made me cry. But
cry because you were emotionally excited, or
no,
because
terrified.
You were traumatized?
The terror.
Just had to check.
Yeah, I tend to do things that I'm not really ready for.
Well, I don't know if I'm ever truly ready for any of the things I want to do. As we were talking about with the Clubhouse, doing these, top 5 things we'd like to do with our horses. And we'd ask them to give us their feedback about what they'd like to do. As I'm reading these, all of these sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Most of these sounded like things that were on my bucket list, but also that I would probably be too scared to do ever. Some of them I've already done, to be fair. And some of them I'm planning to do this year. But I don't know. I feel like a bucket list item is somehow, sometimes when you get it, can be a little, I don't know. For example. Okay. So one of them, the bucket list items, has always been for me to ride a horse on the beach. Right? Sure. It's always been a huge bucket list item for me. And this is definitely cropped up with quite a number of our Clubhouse members. The reality is I got to do that for my birthday this year when I went to the Caribbean. And my husband tried to murder me while on this. So it was like the fantasy did not meet the reality. Was
the true crime incident happening with your husband, was that related specifically to the beach ride, or was that like a coincidence? Or
I mean, he tried to take me out. Like he could not control his horse. And, then there was people on the beach with toys and things, and his horse was spooking, and I'm just trying to get on, ride my damn horse.
That's the big problem with the horse bucket list, is the horse, right? Like that unknown entity, whether you trained it and you haven't quite had the experience that you need yet. Like let's say if you took one of your horses to the beach, that would be like mayhem, right? That would be bedlam. And so what do? You say, right, I'll ride a horse that's trained to go on the beach. But then you have all of the outside factors coupled with beginner riders, coupled with you don't actually know your horse, so you don't know what the reaction is going to be to all these factors. So yeah, an equestrian bucket list rapidly becomes, also a last will and testament. I'm going to do these things, and here's where I want to leave all of my bills.
I feel like I need a redo, I mean, I saw the horses. The horses were pretty cool, but they were also very under-muscled, and I almost felt really terrible riding these horses. But what am I going to be like? Nope, sorry, your horse looks like he's mistreated. I'm not, I don't want to offend either because it's a poor country. And my husband is not a rider, and got to give him some grace on that one. He really did try, and it was his idea. But I kind of need a do-over.
Right. Maybe all of them, we build too much into a single experience, and it's like, for each item on your list, how many months of your life are you going to devote to training for it so that you get it right? I mean, you could argue like, I wanted to be an exercise rider and I worked really hard to meet that goal. I didn't just go, well, that's half truth. I did at one point just go to the track and get on a horse and take it onto the track. And that was an alarming experience, but like to actually like do a breeze, I trained up to that point, and it was still terrifying, but I did it and I got paid money for it, so it worked out. So it's like if you want to be a beach rider for 6 months, which also sounds like a better plan even than just doing it once, you should just move to the beach and ride on it every day as a professional beach rider, right?
I mean, that would be nice. I live by the beach, but there's only one beach you can ride on, and it's you got a trailer there,
That's
and then
a
you have
northern
to like
beach.
apply.
That's
Northern beach.
different.
It's definitely not like the
Northern.
Caribbean. You can't see
Yeah.
what's in the ocean. It's
No,
not
you
a good
gotta
thing.
move to like St. John or something.
Right. It's clear water, little waves.
Yeah.
And no shark's gonna try to take you out, really, or at
Yeah,
least you can see them coming.
The water temperature isn't 50. Northern beaches. What
I
a
know. Well,
nightmare.
somehow the reality is always a little bit underwhelming, I will say. But what I found interesting, and I think we should definitely read some of these, but what I found interesting was that only one of these bucket list items for our Clubhouse members included any kind of competition, like showing.
Oh, what a wonderful observation. Because that's what everybody does. We sit around and train for competitions, and then when you ask people what they really want to do, that ain't it. Go figure.
I know. Isn't that funny? I mean,
That is really something.
I thought that was really interesting. And even the people who had mentioned the type of competitions, right? So Aaron had mentioned doing an endurance ride, which is a competition, but it's a totally different beast than showing like in the hunters or dressage in the arena in front of a judge.
Well, right. And she wrote complete an endurance ride.
Right.
So that's not even the same mental.
No, because to finish
space.
is to win, right? If you finish and you clear it and your horse is good, you're good, you win.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And so I thought it was really interesting, especially in the wake of this Horse Nation article that came out about lesson riders being the undesirables. Right? You read this,
There was
right?
a lot to unpack with that article. Yeah, I read it. Hopefully no one else read it, because it was just kind of anxiety inducing to think that people are really, they're taking one experience with one trainer at one barn and feeling the need to write 1,000 words about it in an international website.
It did. I mean, and I feel like I can speak from experience because I have always been a lesson writer up until 5 years ago. So 40 years of my life, all I did was ride lesson horses, right? So I think I have a little bit of knowledge about that. My kids are, ride lesson horses, even though they own, technically, they don't ride the horse they own because the horse is too much for them, right? They're not beginner horses. I just thought it was really interesting because even when she said the barn she's at has national champions, and even though she has $10,000, she can't afford a lease. Like, I get it. Lease amounts are ridiculous everywhere. Like, there are people who prize themselves on like free leases or inexpensive leases. But like, I just felt like this was a little bit of a woe is me, rich girl situation.
It was just very tone deaf to me. It was like, I could walk out of here, go to the local tack shop and find a free lease on a beginner friendly horse. That's how many free leases there are, because people have horses they don't have time to ride all over the place. So number one, saying you can't afford a lease. No, you can't afford a lease for one specific type of discipline of showing one specific style of discipline. You know what I'm saying? You just set your sights too narrow. And that was what, really started this conversation for us, right? Was there's not one way to enjoy horses. And if you limit yourself to one way to enjoy horses and refuse to try anything else, then yeah, you're going to feel pretty limited by your pocketbook if you choose, I don't know, the most expensive sport in the United States.
Yeah, and an expensive show barn, right?
Right.
Because there's different levels of barns. There's different levels of trainers. I'm just sitting here thinking like, I got Delight basically for free, right? He is extremely talented. He can jump 4 foot. He's extremely fit right now. But guess what? A horse like that takes time. You have to put in the time and the skills. So if your daughter is as talented as you say she is and motivated, wouldn't that be an option?
Yeah, I would, bless the daughter for being the pawn in all of this, because I would like to know if somebody said, hey, psst, kid, you want to ride this free quarter horse that you can take in schooling shows? She'd probably be like, instead of one lesson a week, yes, I would. Yes, I would like to ride that horse every single day. Because while she's probably being really influenced by her friends at that barn and her desire to have like a snazzy Instagram account of her jumping at A shows, at the end of the day, a horse girl just wants to horse. So,
Yeah, you're almost making money the topic as opposed to it being about the horses.
Yeah.
Right? I was just, I kind of left reading that article with like a super sick feeling of like entitlement. And I don't know, I've worked my ass off for the last 5 years to be able to afford my own horse. Right? I pay for my horse. My husband doesn't pay for it. Like,
exactly.
And everything I have, I put into it, time, money, everything, because I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I want my kids to do the same. If my kids aren't going to put in the time to work, I was a working student.
Right.
If they're not going to take the time to work for it, then they're only going to get one lesson a week. I'm not going to give them the opportunity to do more.
Yeah. Everything I've ever done has been as a working student. I don't know when I last paid for a riding lesson. Not because it was like, I don't have to pay for riding lessons, because they're too expensive. You have to find other ways to finance them. But if you want something badly enough, then you find the right barn, you find the right trainer, you find the person you can work with, and you make it happen. It's just, you just work your ass off. Absolutely. I know the barn rat opportunities that exist now are not what existed 40 years ago, but there are still barn rats out there because I've seen them with my own eyes. There's still kids out there running show barns.
Oh, I have them at my own barn.
Right.
And I purposely chose at this stage of my life to not be in this high-level performance barn. Why? Because I don't give a shit about performance, right? I don't want to be at a competition barn.
And I don't want to read
them?
it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course you do. But like those are the articles that I consistently see about how we're leaving people behind and kids don't know how to groom and blah, 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 blah. I'm always like, that is such a specific subset of horses. And we've got a whole huge world out here that has no idea what you're talking about.
Well, and I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about this because I grew up at a show barn, and that's why I left the anxiety to perform. And I was a junior trainer. I was getting blues and all the shows, and I had such anxiety to do better the next show. I never learned how to tack up. I never learned any of this. And I lost my love of horses. It became so commercialized for me.
Right.
And that I left. And when I came back, I said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't want to do that. I want it to be about my relationship with the horse. But as a kid, I felt like really pressured to do that because of what was available in my area and what my parents thought was best for me.
Right. It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of the stuff comes out of the Northeast, and there is a very strong, elite sort of suburban culture around horse showing that's existed probably, I don't know, since the 1950s, probably when horse showing became a big thing. It's the country club set, right?
Yep.
But that's always been, club. Yeah, I knew. And that's always been a big divide in America. Who's got horses, rich people and poor people? Because, folks living out in the country, the horse standing outside of their trailer, they're going to go, horses are for rich folks?
Only if you want to show the A circuit, I guess, right?
One reason I always like that, the movie Sylvester, which is that eventing movie with Melissa Gilbert, was that she took an off-track thoroughbred, number one, but she showed up at a 3-day event with a rusted old cattle trailer. And I didn't even have to do that when I've only seen the movie once, but I've read the novelization like 60 times. And I had a decent horse trailer as a kid. My parents bought a horse trailer. It was nice of them. But I had this like deep connection with somebody that would show up at a 3-day event with a rusted old cattle trailer and a cowboy trader and just be like, "What's up, y'all? We're going to do some dressage." I wanted to be that outcast that won for fun.
The underdog, right?
Yeah, that's my dream. I always want to be the underdog. Yeah.
No, it's true. I think, listen, and then I want to be very specific here. If you want to show, that's awesome. You do you, boo. Like, whatever. I think that there is that narrow-mindedness that a lot of people have, especially when they're starting out or they have money and they want to get their kids into competition. Is this, you got to go to all these shows, you got to get the blues, you got to push. If you work out of the $25,000 horse, then you get the $50,000 horse,
right.
and then you get the $100,000 horse if that one breaks. And this mindset is not the norm for most of people who own horses.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that a lot of these power parents would be really surprised to learn that it's not normal. What you see on a movie star's Instagram of horse show life is not what the average person experiences or wants.
It's true. And I would love to say, so I have a really interesting experience. So my barn owner, who is one of my best friends, I've seen her daughter being raised at the barn. I've known her daughter her whole life. And this girl can ride any horse. I mean, she's one of the only people I trust with my horses. Like, she's amazing, but she's not as far up on her show career as she could be because she's training these green horses, right?
Yes.
She's making her own horses. Yes. And some of her friends I see who have leased their horses or, they'll talk smack about her. But this kid can outride all of them. And she's the nicer one out of all of them. And I do see sometimes where it's this whole, well, my horse costs more than your horse or whatever. And I think that mindset comes from the parents.
Oh, definitely. And may I just say, you just described, both of my leading ladies. And
look at that.
The series and the Alex series, both those girls started out like that. Because that's how I started out. I rode a lot of green horses. I was the kid who the instructor would, be like, hey, we just got this new horse. Why don't you get on and see what it does? That kind of thing. And I'm really, really good at green horses. And I'm only so at anything above training level.
And that's okay. That's your niche.
It is. Lucky me.
Well, and that's it. And I do. And I think I just maybe a message for any parent out there is just let your kid love horses and don't just let them find their way. Don't push them to be the best at anything, but, and this is why you came up with this topic, right? The what else can we do with horses besides competition?
Because what parents need to understand is that unlike the majority of their extracurricular activities, horses have longevity. This could be something that means a lot to them for their entire lives. It doesn't have to be a career. It doesn't have to be a career booster, but it could be a huge piece of their lives, literally until the day they die. So many horse people. Look at all these century rides we're seeing where people are doing
amazing.
A show. They're showing or doing a dressage test on a horse that their age and the horse's age add up to 100. That's incredible. I'm looking forward to doing my own. Hopefully I'll find a 40-year-old horse.
I just hope I could get a leg over at that time.
But people are perfectly willing to risk their old hips and get hoisted onto these horses and keep going because this is a lifelong passion. And wouldn't you want to nurture something that meaningful in your child's life? This touchstone that they'll always have. Instead of going, oh, thank God you got all those ribbons. I don't know what we would have done if you didn't have a shit ton of horse show ribbons. You might have had to pay for your college or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I see it all the time. And I have, I go to a lot of barns. I with work, I travel to a lot of different barns and of all levels. And I say it time and again, I love working with the people who are at the smaller barns or the lower level barns who don't always focus on the competition because I feel like that's where you get the horsemanship.
Right.
And I feel like that's the truest sense of the word. If you want to show, that's great, but that's not focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I am in my life. So, I feel like you pick a place that aligns with what your desires are, right? And maybe this woman has the desire but not the funds, and that's fine. And you got to change maybe what your plan is or find a different way to get there.
Right.
So,
It can't color the entire horse world is not a shitty place because one thing is not as open to you as you would like. It's just, and it's okay to want to show. Like, I would like to show. I think about showing all the time. And then I think to myself, you don't have enough money to show, so don't worry about it. And I move on. And then the next day I think about showing, and which is it's just an on. There's nothing wrong with showing, but it is foolish to fixate on something that is such a minor piece of this lifelong journey.
it is. And listen, I'm not one to say that, like, we were looking through the bucket list items for our Clubhouse members, and I don't think there was anything on there that didn't cost some form of money, right?
Sure,
or time,
sure. Mm-hmm.
right? It is an expensive sport, right?
Yeah.
Where you have a living being animal that is hopefully going to live 30, 40 years, and it costs money to maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I found it was really, yeah, as you said, tone deaf, and I did kind of feel bad for the barn manager in that scenario because, like, I might have ignored the woman too.
Yeah, she kind of did run right over that barn manager, like just rolled her right under the bus. And I was like, look, people, it's a hard job. It's busy. The expectation, the thing that gets me too is like to say that lesson riders are second class citizens is to not know how a well-run lesson barn is run, because that's really who you're making your money off of.
Yes.
Because you can charge them by the ride and you can insist that they need more rides to be ready for something. And you charge them for the horse at the show. Like there's so many extra layers of billing available to you with a lesson student. And I have run very, very large lesson barns. You might not know that about me. You've
done everything, Natalie. Let's be honest.
You can do an astonishing number of things to people when they don't own a horse.
Okay, nobody board your horse with Natalie. She's terrifying. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a reason my horse lives at home.
No, but there is a reason. When I talk to different barn owners, they always agree the lesson horses, the lesson rides are what pays the bills, because they don't make that much money off their boarders.
No. And when you do make money off of the board, everybody's like horrified at how much your board is. And it's like, this is how much horses cost when you don't pay for them by the ride.
Yes.
It is what it is.
It is. And so anyway, I wanted to make sure we brought that up because it really pissed a lot of people off, including me. I was like, ew, this makes me feel all kinds of ways. Because until recently, I was the lesson rider and my kids are lesson riders. And I feel like they're not treated differently. They have different opportunities, but they have the opportunities that they take. Right? If they want to ride more, they need to work more. If they need to work more, right? Or they need to ask for more rides, or they need to figure something out. So there's always a way.
This segment is brought to you by Redingote Equestrian. While they are best known for their jumpsuit, they have released an amazing schooling collection of shirts and breeches with color blocking design for the ultimate comfort and flattering fit. The jogger breechers are comfortable enough to go from the barn to the street with an adjustable drawstring waist and soft material that is durable yet flattering. Mix and match with your favorite Redingote shirt, available in a variety of colors that you can wear alone or under your favorite Redingote outerwear.
I think it would be fun if we turn it around and talk about some of the fun shit we could do with horses that don't involve competition.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that it led to this topic because I loved the responses in the Clubhouse and the way you pointed out that none of it's competition. Some of these things offer the ability to compete, but nobody said, I want to have a gold medal in this, or, I want to go to the world championships in that. It's all experiential and
absolutely
things that people would carry with them forever if they had the opportunity to try it.
And just to add to that, our Clubhouse members, we have about 400 members from all disciplines, from all over the United States, and sometimes a little bit outside of the United States as well. And I thought it was really interesting to see that there were a lot of common ground, I guess. There were a lot of commonalities between some of these bucket list items. So we had over 70 comments.
Yeah.
On this. And, so we're not going to read them all, but like just to address the first one, horseback archery was one of the suggestions. And you and I have talked about doing that.
Yes, we have. And archery figures into my final form, which is how I refer to my number one bucket list item. So, yeah. And also, I did have the opportunity to mess up mounted archery when I was an officer in the Parks Department, because we happened upon some lovely children doing archery in Woodhill Park, which is in Upper Manhattan. And the very nice child offered up his bow and arrow to me, and I just failed completely and did not shoot my horse.
I would hope that would not be the result.
Well, it was a city-run event, so, they were like rubber suction cup arrows. But the kid was just like, what is wrong with her? And what I realized was I was bending my wrist when I should have kept it straight or something, but it was just very bad. So I would need professional instruction, but I do have a head start on mounted archery.
I've done archery on the ground, but I think it's a different story than doing it like at a gallop and dropping the reins, because that for me would be like what if my reins go over the head? Not riding with no reins. That doesn't bother me because I do that, right on the buckle anyway. But like the whole, oh my God, if the reins flip and my horse stumbles and gets caught up, and this is how my brain works. But yeah, I think at a walk, I would love to do that.
I couldn't do it at a halt. But to be fair, Pete was a very wiggly horse.
Maybe it's harder at a halt.
It probably is. A lot of things are harder at a halt. Like 2-point at a walk is impossible. So, that kind of thing.
Well, like someone did suggest a joust. I think a joust would be terrible at a halt.
Oh, very boring.
Yeah. And also, I don't think you'd be able to pick it up, right? You wouldn't be able to balance it very well.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. You're using momentum like in a weird kind of pendulum way, right? So
exactly. But I feel like that's something like mounted archery would be something that would be fun to do. A couple of the others had mentioned doing like a trail obstacle course. I feel like we could set up and do mounted archery as part of the mounted obstacle course. I think that would be cool.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So you're like, go over the bridge, go around the barrel, pick up the arrow, shoot.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like a mounted games kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, see, I think that would be super fun. Like, let's zhuzh up the trail rides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like you could do like an extended course with weird stuff out on it. I do like that idea. That'd pretty fun.
I feel like it'd be easy to do.
Yeah, and I tend to be a little goal oriented. So sometimes when I go on if I go on a trail ride, I get a little bored. So throw some toys out there for me.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. Well, and so some people, like, it was as simple as like going for a trail ride in the woods is like one of their top 5 things they like to do with horses. And that is my favorite. Some
people were really specific about where to ride.
Yes, yeah.
Lucy.
We can always count on Lucy for everything.
Yeah, Lucy, no. We're not riding into the Grand Canyon from the North Rim. No.
Never. Or the South. Never.
Yes, she said she's already done the South and she wants to do it again.
Do you see those bridge videos going over the Grand Canyon on the mule?
No,
I would literally kill myself.
Oh, no. I do. Yeah, that one's terrifying.
I couldn't even do it following the mule on the ground. Like crawling. I couldn't do it. Like that sounds terrifying.
Yeah. I don't know what Bryce Canyon Mule Days is, but she would like to take mules to a Bryce Canyon Mule Days. And Bryce Canyon is pretty kick-ass. And the thing I like best about it is if you ride there, you're like down in it, not up above it.
Yes, I prefer to be in the valley. Thank you.
Yeah, so I could probably get behind that. But definitely not the Grand Canyon. Not on my list.
See. The Grand Canyon is a no. Just no. Good for you, Lucy. Have fun. Lucy did invite us all out to the Smoky Mountains to go camping, horse camping. Horse camping is on my list.
It's on your list for real?
It is, because I want to do, I'm working my way into doing some kind of like conditioning trail rides and like maybe like limited distance endurance rides. That would be like a trail ride zhuzhed up a little bit. But I can't go far because I'm lazy. So like usually at those you camp with your horses, and that sounds super fun. Like to camp with like and then go trail riding the next day somewhere you've never been.
I don't think I want to do that.
No?
No, I don't. I think it sounds nerve-wracking. Worried about my horse. I don't know. I can't really picture myself doing it. I really can't.
I definitely wouldn't sleep. I've been camping, like when we went to Tevis, we slept in the living quarters trailer and our horses were tied to the high line, and every time they moved the trailer shook, and I was like terrified the horse would strangle himself.
Yeah. Well, that, and if there's any kind of motion or anything, I won't sleep. So
yeah. So, but the good news is for that race, we had to be up at 3 a.m. anyway. So it was like, who's sleeping? But
if you had like a corral, maybe.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun if like you were set up. And so there's a couple places in Eastern Pennsylvania that you can trailer out. They have stalls and paddocks, and you just kind of camp there and then ride out from the campground that already has stalls and paddocks.
I think there's some places in Florida that do that too.
Really?
Yeah. But then you're dealing with, Florida. Like, who wants to camp?
The bugs alone is a no for me. Snakes.
Yeah, there's so much of that. Yeah. I like, I have this foam mattress, like memory foam mattress, and I'm pretty attached to it. So I don't know about camping at this point in my life. I think that ship might have sailed.
I don't know. My husband's like, you're never going to go camping. I'm like, Jason, I lived on the ground in Mongolia for 3 weeks. Like, I've been worse than camping. Like, I've literally slept on dirt. And I only would do it if there were horses involved. Like, I'm not going to go just because so-and-so wants to go make a fire and, like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go just for funsies. Like, it's not fun unless you're going to go trail riding, too.
Yeah, I don't know if people don't always understand how much we'll do because there's a horse involved that we wouldn't touch otherwise.
No. My husband's like, let's go hiking. I'm like, are there horses? He's like, no. And then it's not fucking hiking. Like,
don't you feel, when I go hiking, I'm like, this is dumb. I should be on a horse. Just because, like, you cover so much more ground and you can see more. So why are you doing it all?
And it's fun because you're enjoying yourself because it's comfortable. And
yeah, I'm sitting down.
I don't like to stand.
Like, why am I walking on my own feet? Horses have 4 feet. Okay, it's much more efficient. They're
and
built
I realize
for this.
This brings back like the horse does all the work kind of thing. I'm like, no, you're working together. But yes, they take the brunt of some of that when you're going uphill. Okay.
Yeah. Or deep sand or any of that.
That's right.
Real.
You work together and it's more fun.
And again, you can see more from a horse,
Well, I feel like it's more relaxing.
Yeah. The Florida scrub is kind of funny, like, because I grew up riding in the scrub, which is, it's palmettos, which is like a palm tree, but it's a bush. And it'll grow to, like 5 feet tall, like these, and they just go on and on and on and on with these pine trees. And it's very beautiful, but to walk in it can be a little like, I can't see over these palmettos. But like going out and doing a good canter in the scrub, that's what I did when I was a kid. And it's gorgeous. You can see for miles.
That's fun.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love woods. I like for me, I like riding in the woods. That's my favorite. Because I've done the beach ride, almost died, and and I'm good. Now I can do the wood rides, and like that's more fun for me. There's different things, but a lot of people. Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, so would you put that on your top 5 list then? Is that you want to go camping, or is that just sort of a not quite on the list kind of thing? Like, what's your bottom, like, number 5 thing?
I would say my bottom number 5 thing would be, like, doing a conditioning ride because it involves camping. Mm-hmm. But I'd still go and get to do, like, a trail ride that is timed and, like, all this other stuff because I feel like that would meet 2 goals and I would have, like, a purpose. But I don't have a horse to do that with, so... Delight's not the one. I thought he might be. He's fit.
Otherwise, yeah.
He's fit enough and he's chill enough, but no. If he gets a little bit of discomfort, and these horses, they got to put up with a lot, I think. So that would be probably my bottom list. But I found it really interesting that a lot of the people on our Clubhouse all talked about traveling and going on a horse riding vacation.
There's a specific horse trip on my list,
which is
it is the Scottish Borders. And there is actually a very specific trip, which is the Scottish Borders, nights in bed and breakfast kind of situations, like historic villages, and then just riding all day long. And it's like an incredible amount of riding. And there's, they promise lots of cantering and stuff like that. So that Scottish Borders trip, I was like, yep, that's the one for me. That's the one I want to do. There's not too much height. You're not in the mountains,
right?
Yeah, you're in the lowlands, but it's still really gorgeous. You're in between, like sort of the Dales and then well south of the Cairngorm. So none of the like crazy height that is beautiful, but I wouldn't really want to ride in. So it kind of meets all of my needs perfectly.
I have 3 that are on my bucket list. So they're all, one is a cattle drive out west. I like it's nice and slow. You got to do a little sorting, and then a little canter or gallop if you got to get a runaway, right? So it's not. It's a little bit more slow and steady, which is my favorite pace. The other one is what I'm going to do in September, which is go to Iceland and ride the Icelandic horses along that, and that's a dream trip for me, and I can't wait to do that. And then the third would be going and doing like an equestrian safari down in South Africa, Namibia. That one's a little terrifying, I gotta be honest. I'm not like it's like a aspire to. I did have it booked. I was going to be going, and then COVID hit.
I didn't realize you had that one booked.
Yeah,
Yikes.
We were gonna go with a couple of people from Mongolia, and we were gonna go and meet up and hang out there. We had it all set up. We were gonna meet like Mondi out there on his because he worked on a what do they call them? A preserve. Mm-hmm. And then one of our friends runs like a Cape Winelands riding. And so we had it all set up, and then COVID hit. And I'm honestly a little glad, because I feel like I would have been out of my depth a little bit on that one.
Yeah, the people, as soon as you say, I was going to go with the people from Mongolia, I was like, ooh, they're daredevils. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I feel like fate maybe saved me from my own self on that one, because, the want to and the can are probably 2 very different things.
That one would not. The other 2, Iceland and the cattle drive, I wouldn't say no to either of those, but I think I would decline the safari. That's out of my depth for sure.
I
don't
imagine
even know
running
if I
into
want
like a rhinoceros
No.
on horseback. No,
That
I can't
sounds
even run into a
horrific.
deer on a fucking horse.
Exactly. Ben's like, there's a deer. I'm like, oh no, what do we do? Oh no, it's a deer. They live here and we see them constantly. Why are we both afraid of them?
A cat spooked Ferris the other night and I almost died. So it's I was like, you love cats. What the fuck?
I don't know that one.
It's true, he didn't. It was a stray. One person had mentioned something that was interesting. Maybe this is something you'd be interested in. Adult horse camp. So like Girl Scout camp or whatever, but for adults.
I know this gets a lot of love. Everybody says, let's have an adult horse camp. I don't know if that would really be my bag. I don't know if I want to be around other people that much.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you're not very good with people.
2 hours is probably good. Maybe I come over for dinner.
You're like, can we have a cocktail and then I'm gonna go home? Thank you.
That would pretty much be it. I'll have a quick one. We can tell me some stories, and I'll interrupt you a lot, and then I gotta go sleep in my own bed. I don't think I'd be good at adult horse camp. I would have died as a child in camp. It would not have worked. So
what about Kristana had said, in addition to that, going to Europe and getting a tour of the different riding schools. Would that be more up your alley?
Yes. You can check that box. That sounds fantastic. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like going to see the Lipinzens and like, oh my gosh.
Whatever else there is. Yeah. I think there's one in Spain. Maybe do some studs, like historic studs. Yes. All of those things would be fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't some high-end company offering that.
Well, maybe they are. Maybe like active riding trips or something like that, or unicorn trails or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I worked in luxury travel for a while, it was crazy what tours already existed. Like I sold these Kentucky Derby packages that literally like included tours of farms and like dinner at a high-end Louisville restaurant and tickets to the Kentucky Derby, like excellent seats. It was all already packaged. I didn't have to do anything. It was crazy. And it wasn't a horse-centric company.
Oh, cool.
It was just like, these are things that people with money like. So we will build a package. So
the bougie package.
Yeah. The NetJet set.
So I want to hear your bucket list items, but I feel like the next one on this Clubhouse is something that you might be interested in, which would be like falconry.
Falconry is part of my final form. So that is on there.
Okay. Can we just talk about, okay, this is a perfect segue. I want to know, we've got mounted archery and falconry. Who do we want to be? Are we Artemis? Are we like some kind of like...
No, I am a glorious Celtic goddess.
Celtic goddess. Are we Brigid? Like, okay. Mm-hmm. I think that is a badass final form.
My final form is I am horseback. I have a falcon on my gauntlet. I have a bow and arrow over my back, and I am gazing out over the fells as I just contemplate my place in the universe and how fucking badass I am. That's my final form.
This is why I love you, because I also love the Celtic, except I'd probably have a crow or an owl. You know what I mean? As my birds. Mm-hmm. Those would be mine. And I'd have some kind of like circlet. And I would probably have a dagger.
Okay.
Or like
that's
a
close
sword
up
even.
fighting. Like I don't get close.
I want
to
get close. I want people to be like, "Oh, you're so pretty. You're so nice. Oh my god, bam!" Right in the kisser.
I would be alone. I would be far out alone. They'd be like, "Do you see that distant figure? That's Natalie.
You're the sniper. You're the sniper." Well, that's our relationship. I'm the one who lures everybody in.
I'm picturing us as like crazy, like Celtic pirate women, and really seeing it. Really?
Oh yeah.
We could. Yeah.
I mean, we need. You don't have any tattoos, because I feel like this would be a cool tattoo. Maybe we should get someone to draw us as Celtic goddesses. Does anybody draw on this podcast?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if we could, yes, Celtic goddess. Remember, I'm alone with a bow and arrow and a falcon. All right?
I'd like to be surrounded by like animals. I'd like to be on a horse with a dagger, a crow on my shoulder, maybe like a fox or something next to me,
I'm kind of picturing
or a wolf.
This. Like I'm on a little slope above you, and then you're just below on the level ground, surrounded by animals like Snow White, but you have a dagger. You're evil Snow White, which is cool.
That is so awesome. One. That is a goal right there.
Damn. I really like that.
I wish it was as cool as that. Like, that's who I aspire to be.
Yeah, me too. Damn.
You know what,
maybe
Natalie?
we can make a fantasy series out of it.
I was just fucking going to say it. We need to co-write a fantasy series.
I think that's done. Yeah, I think this is happening. Cool, good. I needed a good collaboration.
Get me on my, my fiction.
I told you, I'm pretty sure I said on the last show that I wanted to write high fantasy, didn't I? Maybe not. I do. I want to write high fantasy. That's like a long time goal of mine. So
well, I'm in. Let's do it. We need to start talking. I just need to meet my July deadline for this memoir, and then I'm yours. Okay.
Perfect. Maybe I can get my life in order before then. We'll see.
That's okay. This could be, we can flesh some ideas out. But I think this is great. If anyone is an artist, Natalie and I would love some cover art for you guys to start thinking about it.
You want to go ahead and do some fan art?
Maybe help us, narrow down some kind of real characterizations. I think it would be great. Mm-hmm. So that's your final form. That's your bucket list. It's just to be that.
Correct. Yes, that is when I ascend to my my final form. I told my husband about this in London, and then it worked out really well with this podcast because I was like, oh, well, my bucket list top item is in fact my final form. So it all came
badass.
Full circle.
I feel like I might be a little bit in love with you right now. Like I liked you before. Now I love you a little.
That's a normal response. You know?
It is. Well, I like to read that kind of stuff too. So, nobody steal our idea, by the way. We're patenting this, copywriting it, whatever.
You imagine? I'm just imagining this book cover. It's like this, huge high fantasy swirling watercolor book cover, and then it's like from the creators of Adulting with Horses.
Well, I have a pen
the Morrigan rides again.
She's my favorite, so I'm just saying. Well, I think no one can top that now. Like everybody else's top
that
five
was number
things is
one.
Gonna be...
You went for number one right away.
I did.
My other ones are way lower key than that.
Okay, tell me about your other ones here.
Okay. So one of my other ones is to drive a sulky horse. So like a standard bred. I want to sit behind a standard bred on a sulky and trot him around a track. I don't really want to drive. I have no real interest in driving as a discipline, but there's something really wild about the sulky and how your legs go on like either side of the horse's tail. It's just very terrifying.
Wait, what's a sulky? So first of all, if you wanted to just trot a standard bred, I got a barn for you up here that will totally allow you to do it. Because they've offered it to me because I work on their horses.
Okay, so perfect. This is a good start.
But I don't know what a sulky is.
The sulky is the little racing cart.
Oh.
The little one-man cart that's just like a bicycle seat and two wheels and two shafts.
Oh, just like what they use for the trotters up here.
Exactly like that.
Oh, well then done.
Thank you.
We can make that. They told me they would teach me with my little boyfriend, and he's not racing right now. So like I'm just saying, maybe we.
And I actually am connected to standard bred royalty. Let's not forget I'm a Keller of the Yankeetown Kellers. So all of those Yankee muscles and Yankee Forbes and Yankee Butt Munch, all those Yankee horses, yeah, those came from my family. Yeah, you know it.
You're owning Yankee Butt Munch?
Whatever the fuck his name is. Racehorses have dumb names.
I can't even with you right now. Like, why are you so cool?
Yankee Butt Munch. You won the Hamiltonian 3 times. It's not that funny.
Just made me chortle in the air.
How can it be that funny? Oh my god.
Why do I miss you so much? It's probably a good thing we don't live together and like near each other at all.
We'd get so sick of each other.
We probably would. Oh my god!
Yeah, so
amazing.
Important standard bred person here, even though I've never owned one.
Well, I've worked on a number of them, and they're awesome. So
yeah,
that's
that's my next horse is a standard bred.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I like LA has always got some great comments. She said front row seats to the Longines Grand Prix in Paris, and then seeing the rewilded Przewalski's horses.
Okay, so sub question, because Longines goes to a lot of crazy places. So would you choose Paris or Miami Beach?
So she had chosen Paris because, the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Right. Yeah, it's a great location for sure.
View. I think I would choose Miami because there they have margaritas and salsa dancing.
But they do it right on the beach, right? Have you seen the pictures of it? It's insane.
Nobody wants to see me in a bikini, okay? I don't want to be on the beach.
I don't think you wear a bikini to show jumping. That's probably frowned upon. No, because Miami Beach is the Gulf Stream runs right alongside, right? So the water there is Caribbean colored, right? So it's like turquoise water. And there's a white sand beach, and they are straight on it, jumping with this like Caribbean blue water right behind them, which to me is the most beautiful thing imaginable. Like I'm obsessed with it. And so the Paris one is incredible. But something about the Miami one speaks to me, which is funny because Miami is like a terrible, terrible town for anybody over the age of 25. But the water is so beautiful.
The water is beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't like thumb my nose at anything. You know what I mean? Like if Longines decided they wanted to invite me, they did invite me to the New York Longines, and I did go.
Where'd they hold that?
That was at Nassau Coliseum in Long Island a couple of years ago. That was really pretty cool. I would love it if Longines decided they wanted to invite me to anything else, and I would say yes. Okay. So not really going to get mad at them if they don't, but you know.
Anytime there's a big money sponsor getting people to watch show jumping, I will support that company.
Well, and I love, so when I was taking photos, I was doing a lot of the sport photography. So I was doing a lot of show jumping and cross country were my two favorites to film. But I was doing a lot of 3-day eventers because of that, right? And so dressage and all of that. So I loved doing it. And I bring my camera and I play with it, and it's great. Definitely haven't taken pictures in a while. I kind of a little bit rusty on that one, but you know, I'm here for everybody if they want it. But for the Przewalski's horses, like we're going complete from one end to the other. So like we started with luxury at Longines, right? And now we're going to the middle of the steppe in Mongolia, outside of Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Mongolia, to see where they've let them back out into the wild. My friend Jamie did go see them when she came to Mongolia with me when I was there. And she said it was amazing.
Yeah.
But they really had to, like, go on a trek and find them.
Be like walking into like a painting to see those horses against that sky. Like,
and most people will never see them.
I know. I had Ulaanbaatar was on my list for a while.
Was it really?
Yeah, when I was traveling more, and international travel was more accessible to me, I was like, we should just go here. But right now, I don't know.
I will say the city itself is fine, right? It's just
it's a jumping off point.
It's a city
to go out and see the steps.
Yeah, and they have some great thing, like, if you go, they have a wonderful hotel with the most amazing Chinese food I've ever had in my entire life. And there's some clubs, and there's, they love clubbing out in Mongolia. It's a lot of that, which is my jam because I love dancing. And you get more K-pop out there, that kind of vibe. But it's the surrounding areas. You got to drive like 4 hours in either direction to really see some cool things. But there is so much to see.
Yeah, once you're out there, you're not going to see that anywhere else in the world.
Never. It's 100% worth it. Like
when I don't know if it still is, but back when all the influencers were going to like Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan and stuff, and their photos were just unreal. It's like, getting there is horrific. The potential customs situations, very alarming. But wow, some scenery.
I will say, I never in my life had ever had it on my radar to go to Mongolia. Mm-hmm. But after I went the first time, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going back. I would go back again for a third time because I never got to see, the eagle hunters. I never got to see the Satan tribe with the reindeer. Like, there's a lot that I still feel it's like stepping back into time. And it is humbling and beautiful. And my God, it was highly recommend it because getting there is a pain in the ass. Yeah. I got stranded in Beijing for 22 hours the first time. And the second time I went through Moscow, and half the people I went with ended up getting, had to stay in a hotel overnight with military for various reasons because their flight was delayed and they didn't have visas. So that was fun. But once you get there, it is so inexpensive. You can take $200 and live the life of a king.
Right.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of places. That's always the thing that gets me when I start like working on travel lists or when I was working in tourism and writing about tourism. It's just shit. There's so many places. I'm never gonna see them all. What am I gonna do?
I know.
That really felt like a huge thing, you know, for us with COVID, honestly, was like we're losing all these years of our opportunities to go to these different countries. It's just crazy. And then what do I do the first time I leave the country since COVID? I go straight back to London.
It's a favorite for a reason.
It's my favorite for a reason. That's what I said to somebody. It's like a comfort place. Like I know my way around. I know what I like there. I know what I want to see again. I know what I haven't seen yet. It's just comforting.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean, I love to travel. I'm limiting my travel this year because I've got the big Iceland trip coming up, and I'm riding a lot more, trying to get fit for that so I don't, you know, die. And if we're gonna segue, my chiropractor, this is like a huge win for me. My chiropractor has said that for the first time in years, my pelvis is actually in alignment for the last 3 sessions that I've had. Like, I'm kind of killing it.
Show off much?
I know. I might be able to dismount correctly soon.
I would like to. I think I should go to chiropractor to see how out of alignment my pelvis is. That might be fascinating. I learn a lot about myself.
Might be fascinating. But yeah, no, it's you know, it's moved elsewhere. You know, like I have problems elsewhere in my body. But that's for a totally different.
Your spine is taking all of the twist now.
You know, let's just say my head's a little fucked up.
One leg is shorter than the other now by several inches.
No, that I fixed. See? But I don't have debilitating pain in my right femur anymore. So yay!
Some people just think they can have it all.
I just had to throw in my little win there. So, you know, braggadocious of me, I know. But how about you? Do you have a win besides going to London? It's so angry at you because I'm jealous.
Oh, please. I went on points.
Doesn't matter.
Do I have a win? We're doing wins? What's my win?
I know, because we've had such a great conversation, but like we're almost timed out now.
Oh wait, I have to tell you about one more of my bucket list items before we go.
Ooh,
one more.
Tell me.
Okay, this one's crazy. I want to. It's almost riding on the beach, but it's more complex than that. I want to ride a racehorse in the ocean with dolphins in Australia.
Yes, that's cool.
I can't believe they get to do that, and all I got to do was ride around on a track every day. And they're like,
a big stupid circle.
We're taking our horses to the sea, and the dolphins will swim with us. Like, what? I want to do that. So I'm putting that on my list. There's no reason I couldn't do it. I just have to go to Australia and find the right person. Say, hey, let me hop on a horse. Let's go to the beach. Let's go.
I actually know the guy who is at racing.com. Let's do it.
Let's do it, please.
I would go to Australia again in a second. I've been there. It's awesome.
I need to go.
Sam, if you're listening, if you're still at racing.com, can you help a girl out?
It's just, I know what I'm doing. I swear.
Yeah, no, I'll watch. I'll photo it. I'll take photos because that sounds more fun for me. That is awesome.
But that's a lot. Cool. Yeah, that, and then some basics. You know, I really want to go hunting, fox hunting. I haven't done that yet. I always wanted to ride a steeplechase course. I haven't gotten to do that yet. I still think I'll get to do both of those things. The dolphins might be tougher, but I still think I'll have a chance to ride a steeplechase course and go hunting. I just haven't gotten to
You could come up here and come hunting with a Monmouth County hunt. We have a big hunt that I'm friendly with, and they love to take newbies out and show them the ropes.
Yeah.
And they have, oh my God. They've been trying to get me out there for years, and I haven't committed to it because I'm, terrified of everything. So
maybe you and I should do it together, and we'll just stay in the back and just behave ourselves.
Yeah.
That
sounds fun.
I could be good.
I would probably, Delight actually did one hunt with his previous owner. He made it about halfway through before he started to freak out at all the dogs. But I'd want to be in third flight anyway. I don't want to be in the front.
No, I don't think I'm. I would probably have to do it for a while before I would be comfortable moving up at all. Yeah. Like, it's just. I mean, you already know my comfort zone outside of the track or the arena is iffy.
No, but we have a great, and it's all in this park near us that has it's just really awesome. It's like they kennel the dogs there, and the dog's really familiar, and The people are really good. So anyway, I might be able to help you out on some of those.
It sounds like you've got a decent connection for almost everything I've said so far. So
yes, I do. I have the connections, but I don't have the drive to do it myself. Don't you know anything about me? I love making connections with people.
I know. It's
That's
incredible.
my thing.
What I like is forgetting to follow up with people.
Oh, yeah.
That's my big thing. Oh, you know what? So that gave me an idea. That reminded me of a win that I had.
Oh, there we go. Circling back around.
It all came together. So when I went to London, I spent an awful lot of time going to bookstores, like I said, and I was really interested in used bookstores because I was hoping to find like some old pony books, right? Some like classic, Christine Pauline Thompson's and things like that. And I didn't. I found almost no children's books, but I found a book that has been on my list for a long time, and it is called Memoirs of a Fox Hunting Man. And it's by Siegfried somebody, and it's like a country life kind of diary. And I was so excited. I found it in the basement of a bookstore off of Charing Cross Lane.
Wow.
And I was like, oh
my
God,
odds?
look at this. It was on the list. So I was pretty excited. I bought about 10 books and 2 of them were horsey. So,
well, hey, you have to have a wide variety of tastes. I don't read all horse books. In fact, that's the least amount of what I read.
Yeah, same. This one, I really wanted this one. I like country life stories, and it's like one of my genres. And actually, I bought another book called The Country Life, but it's a novel about like, moving from London to the country, and terrible hilarity ensues. It's like my favorite genre of book.
Very specific.
Yeah, I know. You should see me trying to like find stuff on Amazon. It's impossible. I have to go in person to Barnes & Noble and be like, I'm looking for a book that has this kind of cover, and when you open it, the typeface is a little too dark and you can't figure out why, and it only has single quotation marks because it's typeset in Britain. Do you have anything like that? And they're like, can you leave? And then
Guys, she's back. Exactly. The crazy woman's back.
I just want single quotation marks, okay? Let's just keep it real.
Nerd. Stop being so cute.
I really like things that aren't Americanized.
Oh my God. I still do the double space, and I've been trying to not do the double space after the end of a sentence, but I'm just programmed like that because I grew up writing on a typewriter.
Did you?
I did.
What? Typewriter?
I'm old as fuck.
How old are you?
I'm old. I'm 45.
I think I'm 41. I can't remember, but like...
No, I'm definitely older than you.
But that's typewriter age, 45?
I mean, my mother had it, and because she was a secretary.
Oh, so she taught you?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer, so I wrote on that, and then I got a word processor, and then I got a computer. All right? Like, had to start somewhere, but I always started with the typewriter. That's a weird fun fact about me.
I used to play on a typewriter, but I never learned to type on a typewriter.
Oh no, like I wrote short stories on that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's like, I'm a boss. I'm like Angela fucking Lansbury.
You really are, because I wrote all mine longhand. And I hold my pencil funny, so I have a weird bump on one finger.
Me too. Something that no one in this day and age will ever relate to, right?
Like the weird bump. Yeah. They must still in elementary school.
When I go get my nails done, they still talk about it.
It's the same place, right? It's this guy.
Except I'm a lefty. Yeah. My God, stop being so cute.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
British formatting only. And just listen, as a book formatter, just... I got to take the spaces out when you put them in.
No, right? And I do. But I just sit there and I'm like, why did I do this again? I'm the worst.
That's all right.
Thank you for being a little weird with us, Horse Girl. If you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your player of choice. Follow us on Instagram at Adulting with Horses Podcast, or even better, join our Adulting with Horses Clubhouse on Facebook, where you can become part of the show. Also, it's a great place to meet other horse crazy women.